About that, folks. I think we're having a problem. Let me think. Let me just see if I can change the mic here. Okay. Okay. Right. I think. Yeah. I think I've been right. I think you can be hearing me now. I think I've changed my mic. Okay. Yeah. So, folks, thank you once again, and I think yes, I'm hearing it. We can hear you now. Yeah. Okay. So we have to change this microphone here. So, folks, as I was saying, the little volume on the microphone should be okay. Yes, right. It's showing now. And let me just put this other one on the side. So this one, we have to do something about that one. So, folks, as I was indicating, it's the Junior CARIFTA Games, which is being staged by the Grenada Athletic Association. But basically, they're hosting it on behalf of NACA, which is the North American, Central American, and Caribbean Athletic Association. It's been hosted in Grenada for the third time. Well, congratulations. And something about Grenada, folks, something about Grenada, okay? But nevertheless, Grenada is hosting it for the third time. Could have been the fourth, eh? Remember, we didn't have it in 2005, and that was all because of the hurricane, right? We had Ivan, and then we had the issue with getting the stadium ready, blah, blah, blah. And therefore, Trinidad and Tobago stepped in, Tobago got it. And then 2016, Grenada got it again. And then here again, 2023, albeit is the 51st edition. Oh boy, we wanted the 50th. Bahamas, though, had the 50th. And it was sort of symbolic because it was the 50th CARIFTA Games. It was the 50th anniversary of CARICOM and also the 50th independence anniversary of the Bahamas. So the Bahamians, they were very, very lucky. And kudos to Mike Sands and his team. I thought they probably was working on that. Okay. So as I indicated, the launch took place earlier this week, and somehow there was some local media. Well, I'm not even talking about the regional and international. The local media folks who said that they were not even aware of it. Okay, I had a discussion with at least two members of the local organizing committee, and there was some sort of admittance that there was a sort of breakdown in the communication. I can tell you that they said that they were working through the Media Workers Association of Grenada, and for somehow information was not disseminated as as required. And to an extent, you saw the media turnout at the launch. What I was saying, though, it's an event like that, we have to treat it as a major regional international event. Grenada is just hosting it on behalf of NACA. But the Junior Athletics Championship is one of, if not the best junior track and field championships in the world, most competitive, okay? So therefore, it should be a blast, We were expecting a major blast, So when my regional colleagues reached out and asked me, well, what is this thing I putting out there about the launch? Because it was going on at the time when I indicated to them, they were sort of surprised, but that's something we'll talk about later on. Nevertheless, Rudian is on, but before we have a little discussion, I want to give you some highlights of the launch, which took place earlier this week, in case you missed it. And there are probably some areas of the launch that you may have missed. It's an opportunity for you to catch up on it. So let's join Mr. Kwame Hippolyte, who is the Public Relations Officer of the Grenada Athletic Association. He was Master of Ceremony, and I think he is also the chair of the PR committee of the CARIFTA Games 2024 Local Organizing Committee.
The President of the Grenada Athletic Association, Mr. Conrad Francis, who will welcome us to today's proceedings and by extension, the CARIFTA Games. Mr. Francis.
Sure, it's fun. Honorable Ron Redhead, Minister of State in the Ministry of Education, Youth and Culture with responsibility for youth sports and culture. Ms. Desiree Stevens, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Youth Sports, Culture with responsibility for youth sports and culture. Other senior government officials, Mr. Mike Sands, President of North America, Central America, and the Caribbean Athletics, Mr. Keith Joseph, Chief Executive Officer, Mrs. Vida Bruno Victor, Chair of the Local Organizing Committee, Mr. Patrick Simmons, Advisor to the Minister with responsibility for youth sports, and Chair of the CARIFTA National Organizing Committee, Mr. Charles George, Advisor to CARIFTA Local Organizing Committee, members of the Grenada Athletic Association Executive, members of the CARIFTA Local Organizing Committee, sponsors, ladies and gentlemen, the media. A pleasant good morning to everyone present and those at home and in the diaspora listening. Welcome to the official launch of CARIFTA 2024. It feels as if it was yesterday that we successfully won the bid to host these games. Time has quickly crept up on us. However, we are on track to deliver an unforgettable experience as we did propose in our bid presentation. Therefore, we are very pleased to see so many of you here this morning. This is a true testimony to your support to the very historic and important games. In our midst this morning is the Honorable Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture. This underpins the important role government is playing in hosting these games. Likewise, we welcome our sponsors. Without your support, we could not host these games. We also want to welcome in a very special way the President of NACAC, Mr. Mike Sands, and General Secretary, Mr. Keith Joseph. These two distinguished leaders of our sport have very close affinity to our island. Mr. Sands spares no effort in expressing that Grenada is his favorite island. Whilst Mr. Joseph is our prodigal son. Welcome home, gentlemen. These games, which started in 1972, has its origin in uniting our people. Through sports under the banner of the Caribbean Free Trade Area, CARIFTA. The games has since outgrown CARIFTA, but it has maintained the name of CARIFTA because really it should be CARICOM. But because it's now a brand name, so it maintains the name of CARIFTA. Since its inception, Grenada have been winning medals at each games consistently. And we hosted these games in 2000 and 2016. So this is our third attempt in hosting the games. Cognizant of the successes that we have had in these games, the Grenada Athletics Association appointed a local organizing committee to spearhead the task of organizing these games. The committee is chaired by Mrs. Bruno Victor, one of our leading sports administrators in Grenada and indeed in the region. Today, we are delighted to share with you our state of readiness in hosting CARIFTA 2024. And to give you a peek into our journey, we also take this opportunity to appeal to all potential sponsors to come on board as we prepare to make these games an unforgettable experience. Once again, we welcome you and hope you enjoy the moment with us this morning.
Mr. Francis will now start off the unveiling. And Mr. Francis will now lead off the unveiling of the CARIFTA theme for 2024.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Grenada Athletic Association and the CARIFTA Local Organizing Committee proudly presents the official theme of the 51st CARIFTA Games, Grenada 2024.
The theme, Many People, One Region, Celebrating Athletics, conveys a strong sense of unity and shared celebration of athletic achievements across the Caribbean region.
It emphasizes the diversity of the CARIFTA family, coming together to appreciate and participate in the sport of athletics.
Athletic events, such as the CARIFTA Games, provide the perfect platform for athletes from different nations to gather to showcase their talents, and this theme can foster a sense of camaraderie and promote the spirit of sportsmanship.
As it conveys a sense of unity, inclusivity, and the joy of participating in or supporting athletic activities together.
It's not only about the competition, but also about the shared experience and celebration of athleticism that transcends borders.
As we celebrate the CARIFTA Games 2024, let's explore ways to highlight the cultural diversity of participating nations and create opportunities for athletes and spectators to connect beyond the competition.
This theme aligns well with the spirit of the CARIFTA Games and can contribute to a memorable and inclusive experience for everyone involved.
CARIFTA Games 2024 Grenada. Many people, one region, celebrating athletics.
Ladies and gentlemen, the theme for the 2024 CARIFTA Games. Thank you very much, sir. We now have remarks by the chair of the local organizing committee. This committee is chaired by Ms. Vida Bruno Victor, a stalwart in sports administration in the Caribbean and in Grenada. Represented and attended a number of games, so she must deliver. Additionally, she will unveil the CARIFTA Games 2024 mascot. Ms. Bruno Victor.
Many people, one region, celebrated athletics. Honorable Ron Redhead, Minister of State in the Ministry of Education, Youth and Culture, with responsibility for youth, sports and culture. Mr. Sri Stephen, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Youth, Sports and Culture, with responsibility for youth, sports and culture. Dear P.S. Alphabet, other senior government officials, Mr. Mike Sands, President of NACA, Mr. Keith Joseph, the Chief Executive Officer of NACA, Mr. Conrad Francis, President of the Grenada Athletic Association, Mr. Patrick Simmons, Advisor to the Minister with responsibility for youth, sports and culture, and Chair of the CARIFTA National Organizing Committee. Members of the, Mr. Charles George, Advisor to CARIFTA Local Organizing Committee. Members of the Grenada Athletic Association Executive. Members of the CARIFTA Local Organizing Committee Executive and Chair of the subcommittees. Sponsors, ladies and gentlemen, members of the media. Hosting a CARIFTA Games is never an easy task. However, as a small nation, we are hosting this prestigious event for the third time. Since we won the bid to host these games in April of this year, our organizing committee has been hard at work putting together subcommittees for various functional areas. We have been extremely fortunate to have members of our 2016 committee back on board with us to lead the challenge, and they are strongly supported by a group of hardworking, energetic, and talented individuals, young individuals. These subcommittees have been holding regular meetings, organizing their budgets, preparing action plans, and in some areas, training has started. In this regard, we are pleased to let you know that the first set of training for track and field officials has started. And we were heartened by the response that we got from our people to work in various sporting disciplines. The overpouring of support for our Service Ambassadors Program, more commonly known as the Volunteer Program, has stunned us all. Within 2 weeks of placing it on various social media platforms, we had over 100 persons of interest in becoming service ambassadors. Another important aspect of these games are the hotel arrangement for athletes, officials, NACAC family, and the many visitors who would have been inquiring daily about accommodation. Plans are well underway to ensure that this event is well looked after. And for most facilities, the down payment requested is now prepared. President, when we presented our bid to host the 2024 Games, we promised our NACA colleagues that we will deliver an unforgettable experience to the NACA family and our games that the athletes will forever remember. We have not forgotten, and we will deliver. Led by the CEO of the Grenada Tourism Authority, or chair of the cultural experience, we will be providing a cultural experience for everyone filled with calypso, steel pan music, mass performances, art and craft, and of course, eating delights to include our local oiled dish. So when visitors leave their homes in the morning, they will find all that they need at the National Stadium and will remain there until they're ready to return home to sleep. Immediately following this morning's launch, tickets for the games will go on sale online and locally. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the press, I am very pleased to inform you that the government has appointed a national organizing committee to assist with the proper execution of the games, especially in the areas that government needs government input. Past Sports Minister, Mr. Patrick Simmons, chairs this committee. Now, it gives me immense pleasure to announce to the nation the organizing committee for CARIFTA 2024, and those who can't stand would raise their hand, but I would prefer if they stand. The advisor to our committee, Charles Arthur Robert George. Our deputy chair, Mr. Aaron Moses. Ms. Claudia Francis, chair of the Finance Committee. Ms. Alison Felix, chair of the Accommodation Committee. Ms. Dia Forrester, chair of our Legal Committee. We have two chairs in this area I'm calling out. Mrs. Elizabeth Henry Greenwich and Ms. Tonya Hyson, chair of the Protocol Committee. Our chairman this morning, and chair of the marketing and PR and media committee, Mr. Kwame Hippel. Ms. Tessa McWilkin, chair of ceremonies committee. Mr. Nigel Noel, chair of the security committee. Mr. Abel Patrick, chair of the technical committee. Mr. Conrad Francis, chair of the operations committee. Dr. Sonia Phillip, chair of the medical and anti-doping committee. DCP Jesmond Prince, chair of the transportation committee. Ms. Petra Roach, or cultural experience, that's a special experience we're going to have there, chair of the experience committee. Ms. Nzinga Makutu, chair of a liaison committee. Mr. Don Holman Phillip, chair of the accreditation committee. And Mr. Royden Bidhari, chair of the service ambassadors committee. As you are aware, the government alone cannot finance our CARIFTA Games. Let me use this opportunity to thank the following companies that have decided to collaborate with us and the many others who are getting ready to join them. World Athletics, Puma, NACA, UCS, the government of Grenada. Minister, I really wanted to call you first, but they're trying to switch the times order. But the government of Grenada, the National Lotteries Authority, the Grenada Olympic Committee, the Grenada Tourism Authority, Blue Bubbles, Grenville Cooperative Credit Union, Glenegg, Grenada Bottling Company, the Citizen by Investment Program, and Montbleu. These are just a few. The others are getting ready to come on board. The work is hard. The time is short. But my committee is prepared for this challenge. 50 years as an independent nation means a lot to our people. So as we celebrate our 50th anniversary of independence and our 51st anniversary of the CARIFTA Games, we invite the sports-loving people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, and the whole Caribbean to start preparing to pack the stadium over the 3 days of 2024, March 30th, 31st, and April 1st. We look forward to a bumper-filled CARIFTA Games and a wonderful experience for all. Ladies and gentlemen, the Grenada Athletic Association and the CARIFTA local organizing committee, with their own good wisdom, decided to have a mascot. So we probably present the official mascot of the 51st CARIFTA Games 2024.
Unique to Grenada is the hosting of the 51st CARIFTA Games scheduled for 2024, a rare achievement due to the composition of the regional nations under CARIFTA. Bringing people of our local and regional communities together through sports in Grenada allows for accessing of a very focused audience. As accomplished with our logo design, what better a time to create more awareness about another uniquely Grenadian feature? Introducing the official mascot of the 51st CARIFTA Games, Welsie. Welsie pays tribute to the uniquely Grenadian and endangered national bird of Grenada, Leptotilia welsi, known as the Grenada dove. Welsie, with its opened wings, is a symbol of welcoming warmth and emanates a soft and approachable demeanor, charm, and friendliness. Clothed in athletic wear and vivid patriotic colors, red, green, and gold, Wellesley identifies with the host country, Grenada. It also speaks to the athletes' prowess towards successful achievements during the Games. The use of the Grenada dove is purposeful for highlighting the features of the unique bird that is associated with the CARIFTA Games in Grenada. It represents peace, unity, and the rare and precious nature of the CARIFTA Games. The inclusion of the Grenada dove for its unique features aligns with the theme of many people, one region, celebrating athletics, reinforcing the sense of harmony and camaraderie through sports. Like its rarely witnessed foraging on the ground, Wellesley will add a delightful, authentically meaningful, and memorable graphic to the 51st CARIFTA Games, as the images of athletics will be twinned with the image of the Grenada dove on the grounds of the venue. Ladies and gentlemen, Wellesley.
Ladies and gentlemen, the mascot of the 51st CARIFTA Games to be held in Grenada. It's quite ironic that Miss B, though nicknamed the mascot, unveiled it this morning. Thank you so much, Miss Bruno Victor. You mentioned that we are celebrating 50 years as a country, 50 years of independence, the 51st CARIFTA Games. But we must include, in 2024, the Grenada Athletic Association will celebrate 100 years in existence. And so that's one of the areas that in the coming year, we are going to be celebrating as part of the build-up to CARIFTA 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, we now invite the President of the North America, Central America, and the Caribbean Federations, Mr. Mike Sands, to make remarks. Mr. Sands.
Honorable Minister Redmond, PS Secretary. Protocol having been established, I bring you greetings on behalf of our entire NACAC family. Friends, it's with a great sense of pride and immense joy that I'm here with you to celebrate the official launch of the 51st edition of our much treasured CARIFTA Games scheduled for April 2024. Grenada has a very special place among our CARIFTA family. And of course, you would have heard President Conrad speak to the special place that Grenada has within myself. That's the topic for another discussion. But I will tell you, I've come to really appreciate the warmth and the hospitality and the friendship that I've been able to forge over the years with the likes of Vida and Charlie, President Francis, and the others. So yes, it is a very special place for our CARIFTA family, and indeed myself. The Whitsuntide Games is archived as one of the Caribbean's premier track and field competition, giving an early start to many who have gone on to become world and Olympic champions, such as Alain Francisque, of course, and Karani James. You hosted the CARIFTA Games for the first time in 2000. 2 years later, you hosted the Central American and Caribbean Senior Championships. You were scheduled to host the CARIFTA Games for a second time in 2005. Unfortunately, Ivan devastated your country a few months before the 2004 Games. Yet you bounced back and hosted the CARIFTA in 2016. Here we are once again, next April, less than 160 days away. The entire CARIFTA family will descend upon Grenada and will be toasted to your splendid culture in all its glory. Yet again, we will be able to host with your warm friendship and generous hospitality. Importantly, your sport-loving family and loving people will fill the stands, giving support to every athlete and urging all to succeed. We thank the Grenada Athletics Association for once more taking on the responsibility of hosting all of our CARIFTA family. Minister, we thank the government for its support for the bid and the realization of what many around the world would agree is perhaps the greatest junior track and field championships to be held. We thank the people of Grenada for your warm hospitality and opening your hearts to us all. So let us go forward with determination. Let us go forward together as we look forward to a very most successful edition of the 51st CARIFTA Games. I thank you all, and God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sands. We look forward to entertaining you and the CARIFTA family and the World Athletics family between the 30th to the 1st April 2024. It is indeed a great pleasure to invite to make remarks this morning the gentleman who has been steering the ship of sports development in Grenada, and that is our Minister of State in the Ministry of Education, Youth and Culture, with responsibility for youth, sports and culture, Honorable Ron Redhead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and a very pleasant welcome to all distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Let me start off by recognizing Permanent Secretary, Ms. Desiree Stevens. Let me also recognize Permanent Secretary, Mr. Alva Brown. Let me also recognize Advisor, Mr. Patrick Simmons, and former Sports Minister, Youth Sports Minister. Let me also recognize Mr. Mike Sands, President of NACAC, and Mr. Keith Joseph, CEO of NACAC. Let me also take the opportunity to recognize Mr. Conrad Francis and, of course, Ms. Victor. Well, you see her smiling, so you know it's a good welcome that I am presenting here this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, today we are pleased to launch another hosting of the CARIFTA Games on our beautiful island of Grenada. CARIFTA 2024 pledges to be a spectacular event as the world observes the talents and youthful vigor of our Caribbean athletes on the international stage. The Games in its history have long been a hotbed for some of the Caribbean's most iconic athletes, including Usain Bolt, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, and our very own Kirani James and Aline Francie, just to name a few. It is therefore an honor for Grenada to host, particularly next year, as we celebrate our 50th independence anniversary and look forward to making next year's Games an unforgettable experience of celebration of Caribbean talent, culture, and the spirit of camaraderie as we extend a very warm Grenadian welcome to athletes, coaches, and sports enthusiasts from across the Caribbean as Grenada becomes the center and focus in the region for track and field in 2024. So with these few words, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, I want to be short because I believe that we all would like to see the logo for CARIFTA 2024. The Grenada Athletics Association and the CARIFTA Local Organizing Committee proudly presents the distinguished logo of the 51st CARIFTA Games Grenada 2024.
Central focus of the 2024 CARIFTA Games logo is a stylized representation of a nutmeg, one of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique's most iconic symbols, and the national colors of Grenada, red, gold, and green. The nutmeg is designed to be vibrant and dynamic, symbolizing energy and strength, characteristics of the spirit of competition. Its color palette includes the rich green of nutmeg leaves, symbolizing growth and achievement of all athletes who qualified for this unifying games, and the earthy tones of nutmeg itself, a symbol of strength and reliability. The embracing nutmeg pods are designed in a golden fire flame, symbolic of the athletes' burning passions, hopes of taking flight, and energy towards victory. Incorporated in the nutmeg are silhouettes of 3 athletes engaged in the main events of the games: running, jumping, and throwing. These 3 images honor Grenada's top track and field stars, Kirani James, Anderson Peters, and Lyndon Victor. Their uniforms also pay tribute to specific nations. The Bahamas, showcased by Lyndon Victor, for the recent hosting of the 50th anniversary of the CARIFTA Games. Trinidad and Tobago, as showcased by Anderson Peters, for their success in taking up the mantle of hosting the subsequent games, that is, in 2025, and Grenada, represented by Ambassador Karani James, for the hosting of the 51st CARIFTA Games in 2024. The incorporated track symbolizes the venue and represents the three classes of medal achievements. Combined with the silhouette, the athletes from an AV cape depicting that they are the high-ranking junior athletes of the region. This unique and thoughtfully designed logo reinforces the 2023 Games theme, Many People, One Region, celebrating athletics, further cementing the continued unity and movement, which is what CARIFTA and sports are about. It is truly Grenadian and embraces the sporting region.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Grenada's representation of what the 51st CARIFTA Games mean to us, and look forward to the region and everyone embracing and rallying around for these championships. Minister, we appreciate these remarks and the charge that you have provided us for the execution of the CARIFTA Games. At this time, we invite the Deputy Chairperson of the Local Organizing Committee, Mr. Aaron Moses, who will make a presentation to the winner of the logo design competition. The Grenada Athletic Association launched a logo design competition, which saw over 80 presentations from varying countries throughout the Caribbean region, Grenada, and as far as India. The ultimate winner of the logo competition is Mr. Aline Gulston from Grenada. Ladies and gentlemen, we congratulate Mr. Aline Gulston. Mr. Aline Gulston is a local graphic designer. And as indicated, he will be awarded for his design presentation. Congratulations, Mr. Gulston, and thank you very much, Mr. Moses. We must seal the deal, and so we'll now have the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between NACAC, the owners of the CARIFTA Games, and the President of the Grenada Athletic Association, Mr. Conrad Francis. Mr. Sams, thank you for entrusting in us the games. We will, as promised during the bid, execute a games that will involve more people, more fans.
Okay then, so there you heard it from Mr. Kwame Hippolyte, who is the master of ceremonies for the official launch. That we welcome Rudy and Sylvan, my co-hosts in Toronto, and as indicated, but just one thing, by the way, I have to talk to my friend, Mr. Mike Sands, to let him know that it's not Mr. Redman, it's Mr. Redhead. He was referring to the sports minister. He says Mr. Redman. Okay, it's Mr. Redhead, but I guess as much as something red. But also congratulations to Mr. Gulston on the logo design. I thought it was well captivated in terms of the design. These days a lot of graphics and things. Sometimes you want to find out what is behind the creation of such a logo. But it was good for them to do the explanation, okay, and how they broke it down into the segments. It started off with the like, for example, Kirani represents something, Anderson represents, as well as Lyndon representing, and then the whole idea of the track, the whole idea of the nutmeg, etc., etc. So I thought the concept, it was great, and congratulations, because you know, it takes a lot sometimes for those folks who do the digital creators to get behind a thought and to decide on what exactly they're trying to portray through a logo. It's not just putting something together. There must be a thought pattern, you know, and I want to congratulate him on that. Some other things. um, yeah, so I was indicating so then right after that, they actually went in some Q&A, you know, and one of the things that I thought was a bit disappointing was the fact that they had no arrangements made at the time, because when the question was asked, and thank you, Sharian, for asking that question about the availability of tickets, they announced that it would be available on GoToFet and also at Grenadian Optical. And then the follow-up question was actually, so what's about those in the outer parishes, for example? And I will say further, even Karaku, you know, and Pidi Martini. And I thought the chair of the finance committee was basically, you know, searching for answers, because she probably was caught off guard. They didn't really thought about it. It's something they have to look into. But, you know, something like that, the CARIFTA Games, you can't just have basically one outlet, because you're saying other than that, you have to go online. And in addition to that, purchasing the ticket online for folks who don't know, there's a service fee available, okay? So Granny with only $20 for CARIFTA Games for entry would have to understand that it may be $22 or $23, in fact, okay? And, you know, even, you know, well, they can go to Grenadian Optical. The answer was that they can go to Grenadian Optical and they will guide them through the process of purchasing on GoToFet. No, no. I will also say that, and I think I made mention of that, and it's traditional that most of the support for track and field in Grenada comes from the outer parishes. You know, St. Andrew, St. David, St. Patrick, even Karaku now, they're doing pretty well. So it would have been, you know, prudent for the local organizing committee to think about it that way, in terms of making available for folks in the outer parishes, whether school children, whatever, can, you know, when we organized the meet some years ago, we actually did through the schools, for example, even though the schools will be on vacation, but you're trying to get these people to be part of it, okay? And you cannot tell me that if I do not have the means to go online to purchase a ticket or pay extra, that I have to journey to St. George's just to buy a ticket, you know, or two. And so it should be made available in the various parishes, just a thought, you know, and even Karaku, for example, because what will happen is that, and I know that for a fact, that Bahamas, for example, and I'm using Bahamas as a real case scenario, they usually travel in the hundreds. And there is no reason why they would not buy out the best seats available at the shortest possible time. So why not, you know, make some areas available for locals to purchase? Because I am certain when they go live, one person in the Bahamas, for example, can go online and purchase a bulk of about 50 tickets, and then just call around their friends and say, hey, don't worry, I have your ticket for you already, you just pay me. So that hassle is already, you know, completed. So these are the sort of things they have to look into, even though there might be a limit as to a maximum, I should say, the amount that someone can buy in one go. But there's nothing wrong in I come in and purchase 10 tickets now, and then an hour later purchase another 10, or, you know, these sort of things, and just hold it bulk for my friends. Bahamas, they travel in the hundreds. So all these things are things that they really have to consider, because it means that you may disenfranchise locals who may be willing to participate and may only be have to do with probably a bleachers or the secondary pavilion, because the main pavilion would have been sold out, because you know, the folks who have the means just went about and just get it. But I'm sort of excited that Grenada is hosting CARIFTA Games once again. It's always an excitement, okay? I've been to a number of CARIFTA games since back in the 80s. And I'm telling you, for those who have experienced it in Grenada twice, it's an unforgettable experience, okay? And it's something where I always try to encourage families in particular, take the kids out. It's a family experience. And one of the things that they're doing now is that when you buying your tickets, you're buying it not by session, but you're buying it by the day. So for example, if you buy a ticket for the opening day or for the first day, which is the Saturday, it's not the morning session or the evening session. You're buying it for that day, because they normally used to be selling tickets by the sessions and things like that. You buy a ticket for the morning session, you buy a ticket for the evening session, etc., which I think makes sense now, in that you buy a ticket, and they also encouraging folks that they can buy the season tickets. Okay, my hope is that they try to do a little sort of Black Friday sort of deal. You know what I mean? Make it, if you're buying a season ticket, it's a bit cheaper than if you're buying it single, right? Any other thing I would have missed, Rudan, before you come on? But I'm certain you have been monitoring and you do have some
No,
comments.
most definitely. I think too, even with the ticket sales, you mentioned Granny want to buy a ticket. No, do Granny have a card to buy the ticket? You have to be online. You don't pay cash online.
Yeah. Well,
So
yeah,
those things have to be
yeah.
thought process. Yeah.
These are some of
And how many
these are some
people?
of the
Yeah,
things.
how many people has a card to buy a card to pay online? So you have to consider that. And I thought pushing Vita a little bit, that something on her point of view of the knowledge that she has concerning, like, ticket and ticket purchase, and the way she fight for Grenadians when they have other events in terms of what the price is, should have been something was really should have thought about. That there should have been local areas that in parishes they could go get tickets. Hopefully they will put it in place. Because it's needed. It's very important. It's needed, and it should be done fast. That people paying with cash could go and pick up tickets. So
Yeah, well, it's good to see the comments, or good to hear rather the comments from the NACAC chief, who and he's right, that Grenada is here to track and field in the region with the hosting of
yeah,
some type games over the years, etc. And the warm hospitality that Grenadians basically exude when they're hosting these championships. My only disappointment is that we don't have that sort of support outside of Grenada when it comes to our track and field. In that, when our track and field athletes go to other games, whether it's
yeah,
the CARIFTA Games, Central American Games, whatever it is, we don't have that sort of support. We see it with other countries, whether it's Jamaica,
yeah,
Bahamas, Trinidad, others. There's that sort of support base. And one of the
hmm
things they do, which I think the local association may have to take blame for, is putting all the information there as early as possible so that
yeah,
fans can organize. So, for example, when when the Bahamas was hosting, when they hosted last year, there was no information being sent out from the local association regarding Bahamas hosting the 50th edition of the CARIFTA Games, etc., etc. Grenada will be there. We're looking forward to your support, etc. Give them the opportunity to make, preparations and things like that. Just as how you encouraging Grenadians to come out and support, your
yeah,
local team. There should also be the opportunity to giving them the opportunity rather to make preparations as early as possible to support them when they are participating overseas. There might be folks like Edwin Sam and others who may be willing to fly from New Jersey to, the Bahamas or Bermuda or Cayman Islands,
yeah,
etc.,
yeah,
to support, But the information must be there, and there must be a will from the local committee, the local association, to gather that support. You're not paying for them, okay? You're not paying for the supporters, but you're giving them an opportunity by letting them know what's available. Like, for
yeah,
example, when Grenada was announced as host of the, and it's something that even Vida can attest to, because I contacted her about it. When it was announced, that Grenada is hosting the CARIFTA Games 2024. Within hours, because it was sometime late that evening, a friend from St. Kitts, well, he's actually from St. Kitts, but he's actually based in Houston, I think, yeah, contacted me immediately to tell me that he needs information regarding accommodation for about, initially for about 16. When last I heard from him about 2-3 weeks ago, I think it went up to about 25. Okay, they were looking for accommodation, and you're talking about within hours of, and I saying Kitts and Nevis, guys that just want to be part of the action. Okay, they coming from different parts of the U.S., etc., etc. I'm not talking about Jamaica and the Bahamas and others who normally travel with, a huge following. You're talking about St. Kitts. They don't have a big team per se, but they have a big following of people who want to be there for the CARIFTA Games. And that's the thing about it, in that, the associations of these countries sending them information, keeping them in the loop of what's happening. So they start, trying to get information regarding accommodation and this and that. And then, up to yesterday, there were some inquiries about when the tickets will be available. Do you know when, where can I go to purchase tickets and these sort of things like that. So there's a buzz, okay? But Rudy, and one of the things that was really missing, and I spoke about it at the start, had to do with the lack of communication of information, because there was a launch, for example, and I thought the regional media should have been part of it. Not per se they don't have to be there physically, albeit when you do invite them, some of them will travel there, to be part of it. But with technology these days, as was the Bahamas, for example, last year, the Bahamas sent out an invitation to the regional media, and regional media were there asking questions, engaging, whatever it is, trying to make it a big event.
Make it a big thing, yeah.
In addition to that, the Grenada Athletic Association will be celebrating its 100 years. 100 years of existence, 1924, 2024. Grenada Athletic Association. So that should be a sort of twinning of events, just as how the Bahamas did 50th Independence, 50th CARICOM, and 50th CARIFTA Games. Grenada should try to do something in terms of, yes, we hope it's 51st, but at the same time,
expanding, and it could also, you're also expanding too, because we're also going to be 40 years of Olympics as well. So you have things to attach
and 50 years of independence,
and 50 years of independence. So it's so much things in there to attach to. The timing, if tourism is not involved deeply in terms of arranging flights and putting things in place, because you're thinking about two major events happening almost like the same time. You understand what I mean? So you have people who want to be there for independence and also who wants to be there for the CARIFTA Games, or they have to choose one or the other. Where are the flights coming in? Will you have this in place that people from the diaspora can say, okay, there is a flight specific for CARIFTA week. You're coming to Grenada for a week for CARIFTA Games, and there's a flight from England, a flight from Canada, a flight from the United States, or vice versa. Where does that thing? So a lot of things. Like, again, I didn't hear that. There's a lot of things that's they probably have it, but they just didn't put it out there.
No, one of the things that I just monitor. There wasn't an opportunity to ask questions from outside, right? But one of the things I wanted to ask them about, whether it's part of the consideration, was the fact that as some countries will do, knowing that that Grenada is short of hotel rooms, for example. So when it comes to accommodation, is an issue, but it's something regarding what they have been doing now in other places. Is the cruise lines. They have been using these cruise ships, for example, for temporary accommodation. So the cruise ship will come in and dock.
And dock,
right. And you will use that for the 3 days
for 3 days,
temporary accommodation. Because mind you, the folks will be spending most of the time at the stadium.
At the stadium, you just want a night rest.
They just want a night rest. But because so that will basically ease up some level of the accommodation. So probably even 1 or 2 could do the trick, right? You know, and these are the sort of things that they can think about
Think
and
about and put them. Yeah.
brainstorm, look at the cost factor, you know,
And then
how much,
people too. You get
yeah,
involved with the local people and see
because,
who in that's close
yeah,
by,
because
and you work with them and you investigate.
no,
You know where
well,
they're going to live and what they want to to use
yeah.
their home and so forth, and you look at it to
So,
make sure that it's something that is
so we
is
do have
usable. And yeah,
we do have what we call the homestay program that was back in 2007 with the hosting of the ICC World Cup.
World
There
Cup.
was
Yeah,
you call what the homestay program, where folks were able to stay at you know, at people's home, etc., etc. But it's something where the local organizing committee will have a special committee that will look at the
yeah,
availability of all these things. We have Airbnb now in Grenada, you know, all these sort of
yeah.
things. But this is one where they can look at the cost factor, particularly with a cruise ship coming, probably working through government for the waiving of docking fees, for example, you know. So flights will be available. They're coming in. The concern for most people is
Is
accommodation.
accommodation.
So if you cannot
Yeah,
get accommodation, you may not want to buy a flight. You want to purchase, right?
yeah.
So these are the sort of things that they can look at, and I still think we have time, right? Because you're not looking at a week, for example. You're looking at just maximum 3-4 days,
Yeah,
right?
3-4 days. Yeah, three,
Three,
four
four
days.
days,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. 5
Because
the most. Yeah,
most people will fly out by the Tuesday, for example, Tuesday or
yeah.
Wednesday,
Tuesday,
and
Wednesday.
your ship leave, whatever it is. But these are things that they can, look at and see whether in terms of the cost, because I know most times the cost factor,
Yeah.
logistics is not so much an issue because the docking we have the cruise terminal not too far from the stadium,
It's right there.
walking
It's a walk.
distance,
It's a
yeah,
walk. Yeah.
and things like that. So, these are things that you can look at, and once it can be confirmed, you can make available to let people know that there is accommodation available, the cost of it, and you're telling them exactly what it is, what are the amenities being provided, etc., etc. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
By way of doing that, then you'll have restaurants that will be uh, available, because you're not putting the cruise ship into a position where they have to cater
You have to cook.
for all,
You have to
right,
cater
and all these
for
things.
those. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it's just a matter of people being accommodated on the ship for the night, every night
Yeah.
that they're there. They fly in the Thursday or the Friday. On the ship they go on. Saturday, well, we have the Friday, which is Good Friday. They walk around, do some shopping, whatever it is. The Saturday, even though it's market day, but it's the first day of the games.
And everything
Come
is there
back
for them. Like you're
Sunday,
right there.
Monday.
You're right there.
Yeah,
There is so much for them in that one area. A lot can be done. So it is
yeah.
not impossible.
Well, and it's
But
not, as you say,
yeah,
it's not impossible because others have used it before,
yeah,
albeit not exactly for CARIFTA Games, but they have used it for major events.
for major events. Yeah.
Yeah, major events. In fact, this is something that even by extension, that they can use for Carnival, for example. Okay,
Yeah.
because something that
Same
they can
thing.
use for Carnival, because
It's
it's
a
the same
carnival.
issue
Yeah.
regarding
Same concept.
accommodation. People
Exact same thing.
they want to
Yeah.
come to the country, but the problem is the accommodation. Yes, the
Accommodation.
flight
Yeah.
is one thing; it's very expensive. But if people know that there is accommodation available, they will make the sacrifice and
They'll make
travel.
the sacrifice and travel.
Yeah. All right. So that's it for, I think, this program. So hopefully we will.
I
Okay,
was not
tell me.
maybe I'm still not pleased with the logo. um
You have some concerns about the logo?
I do have some concern about it.
Well,
I understand. There
what
is
I want to
no
suggest to you, Rudian, is
mm,
probably, and I probably can send it to you again so that you can go through the whole explanation of the concept of the
no,
logo.
I get the
Then we
whole
might buy
conversation.
into it.
Why what I don't see on there is a female.
Well, yeah, that was
We
one
have
of the concerns. By the
and
way,
that's what I'm saying.
well,
Because
well,
it's not a male
well,
event. And
right.
they should have had a female on there.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was one of the concerns that was raised to me when the same day, right, a very prominent athlete raised that concern regarding logo and the female.
Mhm.
And I tried to defend the concept by stating that, well, I think they made mention of the world champions or whatever it is at that stage. So probably because we don't have a female champion, but that's just my opinion. I was just trying to buy into what it is the originators of the logo were thinking at the time in terms of the Kirani, Anderson, and Lyndon in terms of global champions, right, in their own right, Commonwealth, World, Olympics, etc., etc. So that was my thinking there. But at the same time, I noted the concern from that athlete regarding representation of female. Probably if they had to put a female, then they would have to rethink who it is and how they do it, because what they were talking about now, when you look at it, is sort of current global champions that, and they were representing the colors of Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago, and I think it was the Bahamas. Yeah, the 50th. Yeah. Trinidad will be the next host, and Grenada as the current host, right? Yeah. So the previous, the current, and the
and then I get that, but that, because now you're saying you have your own athlete, your countryman is representing a different country. You could have the same logo, but not those athletes.
So are you saying, so you're saying one for Grenada, an athlete from Trinidad, and
not necessarily an athlete. It could be an athlete. It could be an athlete image, but it doesn't have to be. It just symbolize. And again, I understand. I listen to it. I do understand the concept of everything. I'm just saying, the CARIFTA Games is not those guys. They pass, and we're looking at future. To come, future athletes to come, and it's still involving them in the CARIFTA Games when it's not, that's just how I looked at it. And I believe a female would have been perfect in there as well, to showcase, it is not only, gender do matter, because now it's on everything. It's not on one thing. There's no going back to it. Absolutely nothing we can do now, because it's going to be an every logo and every single thing. And there's absolutely nothing we can do now, but I believe, representation do matter, and I just think that even if you did keep Kirani on it, representing Grenada, now you have two of your Grenadian local world champions is symbolized for another country. That's how.
Listen, yeah. Whether it's the CARIFTA logo, whether it's the Independence logo, there will be those who have a different.
Of course, there will be. There will be. Yeah, you have a point of view. Yeah.
Again, I'm saying I want to give kudos to Mr. Goldston.
Now, the thought process was really good, because I would never think of, you go back to the 50 and go forward. I would never process that, right? So I like that concept. It's just that you're using our world athletes, in that. That's just what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and I do understand that, and I thought, it's commendable for in terms of coming up with the idea. And what you will find, Rudian, is that every time, in terms of a logo, there'll be something challenging.
There's always this. Yeah.
Because as is the case with the Independence logo, for example, it's out of this world in terms of how it was done.
Yeah.
So that is my thing about it regarding the I want to give credit to the digital creators, because I know it takes quite a while for them to come up with it. It's not something they can just do overnight, right? They have to think and conceptualize what it is they're trying to create.
What it is they're trying to create, and what the message is too. So I do. Yeah. I do understand that.
I think they would have, and there might have been a lot of back and forth in terms of with the local organizing committee, in terms of here's what.
And there's a lot, like you said, they go all the way back. People from India was involved as well, right? It was a lot of ideas that put out there that they could have picked any one of those, but this was like, again, the thought process was really good and unique.
Yeah. All right. So, good afternoon, Edwin. Getting excited about the games. Is there a website up already? I'm not certain, and yeah, I'm not
On the
certain
website, yeah.
about the website, but I'm certain that it's something they may either have or a Facebook page or something that will be able to share information in the very near future.
Yeah.
That wasn't asked
Yeah,
at
I
the.
didn't hear. Yeah, and I didn't hear. Maybe I missed it. Ms. Vida talk about a tech team in terms of the social media person.
But
I didn't hear
no,
that. Maybe I missed
there,
that.
no, well, there isn't. You have the Kwame Hippolyte himself is the chair
Hmm.
of the marketing, PR, and
Oh,
media.
so he's going to bring down
Yeah,
somebody to
that
do the social media. Okay.
well, no, that encompasses everything regarding
Yeah.
social media, all of that. The PR and media always deal with the issue of social media and things like that. So specifically because most of the utterings and releases
Hmm.
and thing will be via social media in any event.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I assume they have folks in that committee who will be able to deal with that, ensuring that the message gets out. But one of the things I really want to encourage them to do is to make sure that they utilize as and maximize, I should say, the media, because it's a character games, it's not a local activity. So
Yeah.
whatever it is must be out there in the region, updating them.
In the
Because
region. Yeah.
even after that, there hasn't been well, I haven't seen. Well, I'm not on the GAAs, unfortunately, on the mailing list. But somehow I would have seen something. Someone would have probably shared or circulate regarding a press release, for example.
Yeah.
There's nothing as a media release from the
Media with
launch,
it. Yeah. Yeah.
and that is my concern too. You
Yeah.
can't just rely on having the launch and then that's it. There should have been,
Yeah.
even if it's a prepared media release, that should have been issued right after,
Right after. Immediately
because
after. Yeah.
you had quite a few prepared statements. So
Yeah.
normally, as the PR committee, these are things that I will do, is to get those statements in advance and prepare something and have it for release right after, because they were prepared statements, right?
People think. And you miss a
Including
lot too. Like
in,
definitely.
yeah,
Other thing
including
that miss. Yeah. Yeah.
information regarding the logo and the mascot and all these things are prepared
Yeah.
things that could have been, included in
Included. Yeah.
a media kit, for example, that could have been sent out right after, so that they have more information regarding that.
And
Because
concerning the website definitely have to be character 2024. You have to do something have to be done in the midst with character. That's definitely because they have their own banner. So I guess
no, but and then in
the
addition
fall
to
under that.
that,
Yeah.
most of these activities they will also send information to NACAC, for example.
Yeah.
Will
Yeah.
put up the information, okay?
Put up the
But
information. So yeah.
I think
Yeah.
what Mr. Edwin Sam is referring to is a sort of generic,
That links to
Grenada
mhm.
CARIFTA Games 2024,
Grenada Character Game
website with
2024
all the
website. Yeah.
information that can have
Yeah.
issues regarding
Yeah.
accommodation, cost of tickets,
Yeah. And all
multitude
of
of
that should have been a launch. All of that should have been the
it
launch
should
as
have
they
been part
open.
of the
That
launch.
should have
Yeah,
been
yeah,
bam.
yeah, yeah.
As we go, it goes online right away. Up a press of a button
All right.
while they do
Yeah.
but yeah.
Okay then. So, folks, just one thing, Rudian, just program note for next Saturday, December 2nd. I'll be traveling. I'll be on the road. I'll be traveling. So we'll be back the following week, because
Yeah.
around that time I actually will be, doing some traveling. So let's look at the 9th, probably could be our final
Final
program for the
for the
year.
year.
Could
Yeah.
be, because we still have the 16th. But one of the
Squeeze
things
one
that,
more in, but we'll see.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. But one of the things I want us to start looking at, Rudian, and also to Edwin and others, we have to start looking at who are our top sports personalities for Grenada for 2023. Individuals. So we look at the male and female, and we can also look at team sports, right? Associations. I'll send the usual thing. I'll
Yeah.
send
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
list, because
Definitely. Yeah.
it'll be interesting how we come up with our sporting personalities for 2023. A very interesting year, 2023.
I mean,
So
I
I,
kind of have it locked in, but yeah.
I know,
I
I
understand.
know, I know that some people will have some concerns, and then you will have to defend your
Mm-hmm.
your
Your point of
choice.
view, your
Yes,
choice.
of sportsman and sportswoman, and we'll give the audience the opportunity to also chime in and give their
Mm-hmm.
reason why they have decided that X is a sportsman, Y is a
Why is
sportswoman,
this sportswoman?
and which association they believe was the top association for 2023, etc., etc., etc. So we'll have a
What is your, just before you go, 30 seconds, so you take on the finals of the World Cricket.
oh well, boy, whoever thought that an unbeaten team being unbeaten
Mhm.
and Australia lost what the opening games,
Mhm.
and look at that,
I
no, I didn't,
yeah.
I really wasn't seeing that until probably, but I think when India batted and they score, then I realized, boy, that's a challenge. Well, not so much. That is a challenge for India to defend. That was my thought. It
Is
was a
it
challenge
is
for
it
India to defend.
I have my views. And everybody have their own views. I think once I placed my views with a few Indian folks who wasn't happy, of course. Um, Sort of seeing my point of view, they kind of see it. I think there's a lot of things is involved, um, and I don't think India play the best. I think India sell the game. That's my point of view,
No,
and
I wouldn't
I
say
don't
so
see
because
India. I didn't think they play. That's one of the worst games I see them play.
well, right. I may say that, but I
And,
wouldn't
and,
say
and,
sell
and
because
at that level of
yes,
competition,
yeah,
if you're not, yeah. So that's just maybe
Indians,
a word of choice, but
yeah, because
yeah,
India
yeah,
and cricket is everything about pride, right? They will do
everything.
anything. I mean, 130,000 in front of, could you imagine?
Hmm. Yep.
120 something, almost
Yep.
130,000 spectators. There is nothing
And,
where the
and let's not talk about those who's watching. Yep.
the global audience obviously will be in the billions, okay? But I am saying that and I will agree with you that it was one of the worst outing in the tournament, okay? Albeit it was the final, you were expecting, the bar a little higher.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
even, I'm telling you, we have seen India scoring, average of 300 runs without a sweat. You
Blink. Yeah,
understand? Yeah,
yeah,
without a sweat. So that 200 yeah, I thought that to
yeah.
me it would have been very hard. A team like Australia, probably
Yeah.
if you had Netherlands or someone said West Indies, you could have feel comfortable, but not Australia in the
And then you
final.
have to think about it, like I was saying, just for another 5 seconds. There's three countries: England, Australia, and India. Of course, has been top cricket in the world for quite some time. Albeit glorious, West Indies has fall short of that glory um, over the
But
years to what poor management, poor players, bad choices. We don't know, but those three teams have been really good teams, and I think anytime you play any one of these teams play each other, I think any one of them could win. Albeit we have seen the Indian play over the past, while, and they have been a dominating group, and I think they're so dominated and they're so prideful for cricket that if they have an A team and a B team and a C team, any one of them could have been in the world champion finals because they have that pride for cricket. And where did West Indies pride go? And I think that pride of winning that crest was one time in the past. There was pride of winning that crest, and I don't. And I really think about it after watching that game and waking up and watch that game and I think about it of, man, look where we came from. as a West Indies team to where we are now,
Mhm.
um, what's lost? Like, where can we say we fall short? Like, I know it's a
Rudian,
discussion and it's going to be like
Rudian,
5 hours, but
Not only
it's,
that,
yeah,
it will be interesting because yes, we'll have such a discussion because remember, come 2024 we have the World Cup, the
yeah,
T20 World
yeah,
Cup,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm wondering if you'll be saying that about West Indies or Canada or US. Which one,
I
who
mean,
you'll be who you'll be talking about? So probably I'll
yeah.
have to bring your friend on, Master Kuro, to give to give something about that because we'll have a discussion and we'll be talking about whether it's West Indies, whether you will be talking about Canada, whether I'll be talking about West Indies and the US,
The US,
all
yeah,
this kind
yeah,
of thing.
yeah, yeah,
So yes, definitely we'll have to have a talk, and a more in-depth talk, about the cricket, and that would be prior to the World Cup itself. That's the T20
yeah,
World
yeah,
Cup. But certainly, I thought it was a competitive because who would have thought, Rudian, that the big mighty England, would not have been there in the top four. Well,
yeah.
even in the eight, the quarterfinals,
Indeed,
yeah,
yeah,
the
yeah.
top eight. They finished almost bottom line.
On the bottom, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So my thing is that I thought it was very competitive in terms of the
yeah,
World Cup. Uh, India, no doubt, was looking as a team to beat. You know, even going into the final, everyone, I'm certain the
yeah,
pundits
yeah.
had India
Oh, yeah.
as the favorite, right?
I mean, listen, if the prime minister knew that he wouldn't leave, and come to a different state to give her the trophy to someone else, he'd have stayed right there and said somebody else.
Yeah,
they,
yeah,
they, were, they were sure, they were sure that the trophy would have been home.
and then
Um,
looking at the performances of both teams in the tournament itself, you certainly would have given India the benefit of the doubt.
the benefit of the
Not,
doubt, yeah,
not just as a home team, but being the most competitive, the
yeah,
unbeaten team up to the
unbeaten team,
final, So
yeah,
I thought it, boiled down to, as you indicated, is not the best we've seen of India in that tournament. It probably was the worst of them. Okay. And I don't know if it was a matter of overconfidence, that
exhaustion. There's a lot of different things. There's,
they thought they had it in the bag.
you thought they had it in the bag,
Yeah.
and we've seen it a lot of. It happened with a lot of teams. You've seen teams that could actually
Yeah.
win in a
Yeah.
soccer game. Albeit, I know there's a big game going on right now. In soccer with Liverpool and Man City. I haven't got an update on that yet.
It finished already.
It finished
Yeah.
that one was that score?
It ended 1-1. And
1-1.
yeah, and
Yeah.
then but here the interesting thing, Newcastle and defeated just before we started. Newcastle defeated Chelsea 4-1. Right, that was a interesting game. But it's a
Yeah.
halftime now with Arsenal and Brentford, and it's 0-0 at the half. But that was an interesting score there between Newcastle and Chelsea.
And
Newcastle
Chelsea.
winning
Yeah.
4-1.
Yeah.
Even after halftime at 1-1, and then Man City and Chelsea. Man City was winning, I would say, and then
Well, of course we are. Of course we
Liverpool
are. Came back and tied up,
Holland.
and that was and Liverpool is like they're on the brink of coming back, and but like I said, and a principle in the St. Patrick's Irish School I always say goals win matches. He say it doesn't matter how you score, as long as it's goal.
Yeah,
Win the match. It doesn't matter how much stars you have on one side. They don't score, can't win the game. So
yeah.
as
That's
strong as one team might be, yeah, goals win matches.
yeah. That's I would say that is an interesting thing. Just one thing before I go. As I said, we don't have a program next Saturday because I'll be on the road. But the Grenada Athletes Commission Forum, they have a program on to next Saturday at
Next
11,
Saturday, yeah.
11 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Mhm.
That's Eastern Caribbean time. And they will be talking about resume writing, college and post-athletic preparation. These are some of the things that they'll be discussing. And they have at least two former athletes. Well, they have Yes, they do have Kurt Felix. Well, they have a
Mhm.
number of them here. They have, because I'm seeing Kurt Felix, Joel Phillip,
Joel Phillip is there too.
yeah, Wilbur Thomas, who is at Kingsborough Community College, and Michelle Cadet, who is at Michelle is where Michelle is. She's a volleyball coach at Medgar Evers.
Volleyball coach at yeah, in New York. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good
at
in,
Medgar
New York.
Evers.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then there's also Miss Jillian Thomas, who is a specialist in resume writing. But Kurt Felix, Joel Phillip, Wilbur Thomas, and Michelle Cadet will be speaking about college and post-athletic preparation, because both Wilbur Thomas, well, I shouldn't say both, Wilbur Thomas, Joel Phillip, and Michelle Cadet, they are all involved in sports administration at various colleges in the
With the
United
colleges,
States.
yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So that's
definitely will be on as
yeah.
well.
So that's next Saturday at 11 o'clock to 2 p.m. And then, by the way, there is something in the new year, I think, where we we have to assist them in terms of media and things like that. So we just have to finalize with the commission regarding that. So we will talk to the athletes about media presentation, interviews, all these sort
Yeah,
of things, and making themselves a little more media savvy, because
medias. Yeah,
once they get into colleges and participating, competing, etc., there'll be opportunities where they'll have to be interviewed, etc. And we want them to be able to be confident, feeling a bit of confidence,
no, no, how you present yourself too.
exuding some level of confidence, if I
Definitely
might.
confidence. Yeah,
You know, there's the charm, the charisma, all these sort of things these days, which is to an extent very marketable for them in the future, right?
yeah,
So we'll be talking to them about that in the future.
definitely.
Thank you very much,
All
Hazel,
right,
and
man. And
thank
we will
you,
definitely
Rudian,
talk. Yeah,
and thank you for the
it
team.
was a pleasure.
We'll be
Yeah.
talking. Yes, thanks very much. Okay then.
All right. Have a good one.
Okay then. So that's Rudian speaking to us from Toronto, Canada, and we'll be back on program come the following Saturday, which will be the 9th of December. We'll have our next program, because on the 2nd, be on the road traveling. And then there's also the program in Grenada. Wonder if I should pass by for that program. Yeah, probably if I get there in time, I'll probably be able to make a pass there. That's 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Grenada time. The Grenada Athletes Commission Forum, Grenada Olympic House, and then they'll also have it on Zoom. Okay, thank you very much. Hey, Michael, haven't seen or heard of you quite a while. Where are you in the U.S., Michael? Are you in Houston, Texas? Which part of Texas, I should say? This guy all over the place. Michael Formal played for Fontenoy United. Yes, Fontenoy United, boy. We can't say anything bad about Fontenoy United. They used to give Queen's Park Rangers. Oh, Dallas. Okay, Dallas. Right, Dallas. Thank you, Michael. Well, I'm not sure if your good friend Chenny, who's saying he's listening, but Queen's Park Rangers, I don't think Fontenoy United is a threat to Queen's Park Rangers these days, Probably when you were wrong, Michael, but these days, our boys, they're on a roll, they're doing good, albeit, unfortunately, they're not in the final of the Wagiti Super Knockout Tournament. They got knocked out. And, but I think they have their eyes on the big prize of the Premier League. And good friend Chenny might want. I'm laughing. Yeah, boy. Yeah, we call him Ethan, right? Yeah. Yes. They might have their eyes on that. The Grenada Premier League, no doubt. That's another thing we have to discuss about where we are in terms of football in Grenada. We have to have a separate program. This is not a one sentence. Okay. Oh, so they are playing semifinals tonight. So Chenny, there it goes. So Fontenoy, okay, all right. So, so they batted Wagiti. not in Premier League. We want to meet up in Premier League, boy. That's where we want to meet you all up, in the Premier League. But it's good to know that you know, you're following you're following you're following the exploits, and no doubt Fontenoy is still around, Jenny. Glad to know that. But we want to see something big regarding our national or domestic tournament, which is our Premier League and our, well, whether it's conference or whatever it is. We haven't been hearing much about the conference and things like that. So, but you know, hopefully we can get back on the road to some very competitive football in Grenada. Oh, he's saying that they got a favorable draw. Okay, so that's going in their favor. But folks, if you in Grenada and there's something that you can support in terms of sports, there's Warity knockout football on. Let me say congratulations to McDonald College, winners in the secondary schools, what it is, Star Malt 8 tournament. McDonald College winning that. So congratulations to McDonald College, also the beaten finalists, Boca Secondary School, and all the teams who participated somewhere or the other that made the tournament very successful this year. And looking forward to independence tournaments, upcoming independence tournaments, whether it's football, volleyball, tennis, basketball. Folks, we have not been hearing, you know, that's the problem. These folks are voted into national executives with all these grand promises of reviving and doing this and making the sport better and things like that. So, and we don't hear anything, you know. We don't hear anything for a while. They just go back into the normal, and then they resurface when it's just about time for re-election. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. So we really, really want these associations to be, you know, kicking. And as indicated, we'll be announcing our associations of the year, association rather of the year, whether it's swimming, whether it's tennis, whether it's volleyball, you know, whatever. But for basketball and all these associations, they need to, you know, get their act together. You know, there shouldn't be just a national tournament. They should be partnering with communities, with, you know, other stakeholders, having tournaments and having basketball being played throughout the length and breadth of the island. I mean, just about every week we're hearing something about volleyball, for example. Whether there's a training session on the beach, whether there's a seminar in Grenville or whatever it is, there's something happening. You know, some of these associations really need to get up and start, you know, working. I am dying for the National Sports Council and the Parish Sports Council, where we can get these associations working, getting them engaged. If not, you have to do it, okay? And make them, you know, almost obsolete. You know, I would say, no, we need the association, but they have to do something, man. There are people who are yearning for activities, sporting activities, but there's nothing at the association level, okay? And we need to get them going. Thank you very much, folks. Is Jenny, you're saying a lot of things there. Yeah. But we'll be making our picks, you know, and we'll give you the audience to make your pick of association of the year, sporting personalities of the year, you know, male, female, coaches, etc., etc. And by the way, if given the opportunity, I hope you can defend your choices, okay? So if we call upon you to give us reason why you think this is your choice, this is your choice, these are your choices, I hope you're willing to do that. Not that you have to, but we'll give you the opportunity. Okay? Thank you very much, folks. Thank you for being part of our program. Always a pleasure having you. And I look forward to you joining us again on the 9th of December when we'll do have another program, because on the 2nd, we'll be skipping that for some reason. Okay? Thank you very much, folks. Do enjoy the weekend.